Hi guys, so today we're going to do the Unit 5 End of Unit Study Guide. Sonia deposited 2 checks in her savings account. So deposited tells me that I am using a positive number into her savings account. The first check increased their value by $150. So I have a plus 150. And the second check increased her account by 75. She also wrote a check that decreased her account by 150. So plus a negative 150. How many dollars did her account value change in total last week? So by how many dollars did her account change in value during the last week? So we have 150 plus 75. That makes 225, and then plus a negative 150. Well, that's going to be $75. So it changed in total by $75. The Earth's atmosphere consists of 2 distinct layers. The troposphere is the layer that's closest to the Earth's surface. The stratosphere begins just above the troposphere and extends up 60 kilometers above the Earth's surface. The temperature increases from negative 45 degrees Celsius at the bottom of the stratosphere to negative 13 degrees Celsius at the top of the stratosphere. What is the temperature increase in degrees Celsius from the bottom of to the top of the stratosphere? So I have negative 13 degrees minus a negative 45 degrees because I want to find the difference. I want to see what it was at the end and what it is at the beginning, and I want to subtract them. So I'm going to keep change. So I'm going to change to addition and change the sign of the second number. So I have negative 13 plus 45. When my signs are different, I'm going to subtract. So 45 minus 13. I get 32 degrees, and there's going to be more positives than negatives, so it's going to increase by 32 degrees. All right, what is 9.9 divided by a negative 6/10? Well, I know that when I'm solving a problem and I have 2 different signs, I know that my answer is going to be negative because I'm using division. So I'm going to definitely have a negative answer. I'm going to set it up as 9.9 divided by 0.6. I'm going to move that decimal 1 place to the right, move this decimal 1 place to the right, put my decimal up there. 6 goes into 9 one time. 1 times 6 is 6. I'm going to subtract and I get a 3. Bring down my 9. 6 goes into 39 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. I'm going to subtract and I get 3. I'm going to have to add a 0. 6 goes into 30 5 times. 5 times 6 is 30. I'm going to subtract and I get no remainder. So I know it is negative 16.5. All right, so for the next one, I know that I have negative 25 divided by negative 1/5. So when I'm dividing fractions, I'm going to keep change flip. So keep change flip. And I know that anytime I have a whole number, I'm going to put it over 1. So negative 25 over 1 times negative 5 over 1. So I know my answer is going to be positive because the signs are the same. So 25 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. So I get 125, and it's going to be positive. So 125 is going to be my answer. It'll be negative 10 degrees tonight, and the weatherman predicts that it will be 16 degrees warmer by tomorrow at noon. What will be the temperature at noon tomorrow? So I have negative 10 plus 16. I know that my signs are different, so I'm going to subtract. So 16 minus 10 gives me 6, and I know I have more positives than I do negatives, so my answer is going to be 6 positive. On Monday, the high temperature at Sheboygan, Wisconsin was negative 7. The high temperature on Tuesday was 10 degrees warmer than the high temperature on Monday. What was the high temperature on Tuesday? So negative 7 plus 10. Well, I know that my signs are different, so I'm going to have to subtract. So I end up with 3. And I know that I have more positives than negatives, so it's going to be 3 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's going to be positive. A submarine is 250 feet below sea level, so I know I have a negative 250 feet. It descends 675 feet, so that's plus a negative 675, before rising 65 feet. And leveling out. At what depth is the submarine when it levels out? So I'm going to add these two together because the signs are the same. And I get negative 925. My signs are different, so I'm going to subtract. So I know that there are more negatives than there are positives, and I know it's a submarine, and I know that it's below sea level. So I know that it's going to be definitely negative. So I've got negative 860. All right, so this one I have 2 negatives. So when I'm multiplying and I have 2 negatives, I know that it's going to be a positive. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Then I'm going to add. And I know that it's positive because both of my signs are the same. So it's 1,440. My signs are the same, and I'm adding, so I'm going to keep the sign of both numbers, and my answer is going to be negative 13. Which operation will solve the equation below in one step? Well, I know that if I want to undo the operation that's being done right now, I'm going to add 9 to each side. So that C is by itself because I want to create that 0 pair. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. Which operation will solve the equation in one step? Well, I'm going to, again, get C by itself. So to create that 0 pair, I'm going to add 8 to each side because a negative 8 and a positive 8 is going to create that 0 pair. They want us to evaluate if x is 6. So 7 and then 6 minus 9, keep, change. That would be 6 plus a negative 9. So 6 plus negative 9 would be negative 3. So that would be negative 21, because when the signs are different, my answer is going to be negative. So that's going to leave me with negative 16. When x is negative 4. So that's going to be negative 12. And that's going to be 8. All right, so I have to square it before I can multiply by 7. So squaring it means I'm going to do 8 times 8. So that means I'm going to get 64. So 64 times 7. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 6 is 42, 43, 44. The table lists a description representing positive or negative numbers. For each row, select the column that's correct. Okay, so they want us to decide whether this is going to be positive or negative. So if it's 24 meters above sea level, that's going to be positive. If it's 14,000 feet high mountain, that's also going to be positive. If it's 12 degrees greater than 0, it's going to be positive. If it's a 300 credit to a store, that's positive. If it's a $6.32 debit to a checking account, that's negative. If it's 25 degrees Fahrenheit, that's positive. Town M is 164 feet below sea level, so that's negative 164. Town R is 574 feet above sea level, or 579 feet above sea level. So that's positive. How much higher in feet is town R than town M? So I'm going to do 579 minus negative 164. Because I want to figure out how far apart they are. So keep, change, change. So I end up adding the two together because I want to figure out, okay, how far is it from 164 to 0? And then how far from 0 is 579? And I get 743. So it would be 743 feet. All right, if you have any questions or you need any help, just let me know. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.